So here are what we call diamond problems, otherwise referred to as the X problems. So what do you notice first about these four numbers? So here I have 3 and 4, here I have 7 and 12. Well, I'm going to give you one hint. You use some operation to get this number and a different operation to get this number using these two. Well, the bottom one is probably the easiest to figure out. 3 and 4 add to make 7. So if we add these bottom two numbers, you get 7. But with the top two, 3 times 4, if we multiply, will give us 12. So basically, if you multiply the side two numbers, you get 12, and if you add them, you get 7. Same thing on this problem. If we add these two numbers, -5 plus 2, we get a -3. And if we multiply them, 5 times 2 gives us -10. So let's take a look down here at these two. If we add these and multiply these, what two numbers could we put here to figure out what adds to get 13 but multiplies to get 42? If you're not sure, let's list the multiples of 42. Well, 42 times 1. If we divide by 2, it will give us 21 times 2. Otherwise, divided by 3, I'm not quite sure if that's divisible by 3. You could use your calculator and plug it in. I would just go down the line, see if it's divisible by 2, by 3, by 4. I know 6 times 7 is 42. So think here for a second. If I put 6 here and 7 here, that multiplies to get 42, but if I add those numbers, it's not going to give me a -13. But what if they were both negatives? A negative times a negative makes a positive 42 still, and a -6 plus a -7 gives us -13. So we figured out what two numbers go on either side. And I believe that's the numbers that are hidden under here as well. Yep, -6 and -7. Doesn't matter which one you put first. So let's look at this next one. What could you multiply to get 80, but add to get 2? Well, if you think of multiples of 80, you could do 1 times 80, 2 times 40. I don't think 80 is divisible by 3, but divisible by 4. 4 times 20. Divisible by 5. How many times would 5 go into 80? Well, 10 goes into 80 8 times, so I know 8 times 10 will give you 80. But 5 times 12? No, that's not right. 16 is what it is. I plugged it in my calculator. So let's keep testing these out here. Could I plug in a 6? 80 divided by 6. I don't think that's going to give me, oops, not 82. I'm using my calculator. 80 divided by 6. Nope, not a nice number. So let's try these first. If I put these two numbers here, 1 and 80, that's not going to add to give me 2. I need two numbers that are close to each other, like maybe 5 and 16, but the adding or subtracting those here with the negative won't make 2. What about 8 and 10? I need one to be a negative, but which one, if I add these two together, should be a negative so that there's more positives overall? Well, the smaller number would leave us with more positives, meaning -8 plus 10 is 2, and -8 times 10 is -80. So these are our two numbers on either side. Let's try a couple more. This is exactly what your diamond problems have at the top. The directions say, in each diagram, write the two numbers on the sides of the X. We got to figure out what are these two side numbers that multiplied together give us the top number, but added together give us the bottom number. That's what we've been doing. So the only things that multiply to get 7 are 1 times 7. So that's the only option to add to give us 8 as well. Multiples of 18, we could do 1 times 18. We could do 2 times 9. 3 times 6, and I think that's it. To give us -9, well, 1 and 18 won't add to get 9. 9 and 2 is not going to add to get 9, -9. But what about 3 and 6? But we need a -9, so if we add two negatives, there'll still be a negative. If we add this plus this, it gives us -9, and multiplies to give us a positive 18. Let's do these last two, and then I'll have you try some on your own. So -6. I'm just going to look at the number positive 6 for a minute. We could do 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and that's it. So to add to get negative 1, well, 1 and 6 aren't work, because either way you get 7 or 5 if you add or subtract those. But 2 and 3, we could try those. Multiply, we need to get negative 6, so one of these has to be negative. But there's more negatives, so it's got to be the bigger number, because 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. Alright, last one. Multiples of 50, we could do 1 times 50, 2 times 25. It's not going to be divisible by 3. Is 50 divisible by 4? Let's try. 50 divided by 4. Nope, 12.5. But 50 divided by 5 is 10. And that one looks like it's going to work. 10 times 5 is 50 when you multiply, and 10 plus 5 is 15. Sometimes easier if they're both positive numbers. So go ahead and try your Diamond Problems worksheets. You just have to figure out what two numbers go on either side.